Hello, I'm Ali, a percussionist and SEND music practitioner, and on behalf of Jessie's Fund, I'm going to teach you the fundamentals of rhythm and share 3 contrasting activities with you that once you've adapted and practiced, you'll be able to use in a variety of classroom settings, from MLD and complex needs through to PMLD. Rhythm is the word we use to describe the measured flow of long and short sounds, either repeated or improvised. Rhythms can vary in tempo and include stressed and unstressed sounds. So I've got a djembe here, and I'll now demonstrate the 4 basic bits to creating your own rhythm. So we've got beat. So beat is a bit like a heartbeat, and it's just a nice steady So this is a great foundation to layer other things on top of. We've got tempo. So tempo is the word that we use to describe how fast or slow something is. So a fast beat would sound like this. And a slow beat. We've also got accents. So accents are the loud or quiet bits to that beat. So we might want to accent, say, beat 1 of each bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we've also got pitch. So pitch is how high or low something sounds. Now on a drum, we can only really make 2 different pitch sounds. We've got the low sound and we've got the high sound. And when you add all of those together, you can create some really interesting sounding rhythms. We can use these 4 elements to simply create a percussive piece of music that can be used to attract attention, to aid movement, and also to encourage communication. A good example of this is call and response. This first activity is called 1 to 8. This is a really accessible way of creating a repetitive rhythm that includes a variety of sounds and dynamics. Once a pulse has been established, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, each participant chooses a number between 1 and 8, and they only play their instrument on that beat. In this musical demonstration, you'll see that each participant has chosen a different number, but notice that as the sounds become more familiar, the once random sequence becomes more musical. Have a listen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This can be performed by staff and students at various tempos and volumes to generate responses. To take it a step further, specific instruments can be chosen to accent key numbers. For example, all the drums on even sounds and all of the hand percussion on the odd sounds. Here's what that might look like. Activity 2, this is the one I like to call tension and release. This is particularly useful for groups with PMLD, SLD, and for those who generally engage by listening. With patience and repetition, this activity can have a profound effect on its audience, encouraging movement, vocalizations, and self-expression. This simple activity relies on the gradual increase in intensity. Starting very slowly and quietly, a single drummer plays a pulse. allowing plenty of time. One by one, each staff member gradually joins in, adding to the volume and intensity of the soundscape. As it builds and builds over several minutes, and after a clear signal, the music suddenly stops silent. So pretend that maybe 1-2 minutes have passed, and it's building in intensity. Now it's important at this point that staff must be silent, making sure not to speak or make a sound on their instrument. In this silent break, look out for signs of interaction from the young people that you're working with. It may not happen first time, but eventually you'll notice that students will do something to encourage the music to start again. This slow build can be repeated multiple times, shortening each time to add to the sense of familiarization and anticipation. After the students start to anticipate this wall of sound, it's now time to encourage them to lead the music. For those students who are unable to perform, it's a really great inclusive activity to listen to and feel the vibrations of the instruments. So the third and final activity I'm going to show you today is called Rhythm Windows. This is an activity best suited to higher ability classes that uses a grid that looks like this, and each section of the grid can be filled in with a rhythm. The rhythm can be made up of words or phrases such as a pupil's name, the seasons, animals, objects, etc. The class then moves through the windows and plays the rhythm, creating a flowing pattern. So I'm going to give you a little demonstration. I've thought of some animal names. So in block 1, or in the pane of the window 1, we're going to put the word dog. So I'm writing it, but you could have an image instead if that's more appropriate. In block 2, I'm going to write butterfly. There we go. In block 3, I'm going to write grasshopper. Notice how each of these so far have had a different number of syllables in the name, which helps, as you'll find out in a minute. And then the last one, we're going to have cat again. It helps to have a one-syllable sound at the end, just for clarity. But there we go. So we've got, if you can see that, we've got dog, butterfly, grasshopper, cat. Okay. So I'm going to play that on my drum to show you what this flowing pattern is going to sound like. Dog, butterfly, grasshopper, cat. Dog, butterfly, grasshopper, cat. Dog, butterfly, grasshopper, cat. So you can practice that with your students, get them playing along. You can break it up so that you've got 4 different groups. Each one has their own animal, and play it a bit like a round, I suppose. Or you can obviously play it all together as a unison piece of music. And then mess around with the tempo of it, the speed, so it might end up sounding like this. There you have it, 3 accessible ways of creating rhythms. I really hope that you find some of these useful, and I hope that you find creative ways of using them in your classrooms with your students. Thank you very much to Jessie's Fund again for having me. It's been a pleasure. Enjoy and good luck.